Hey guys, and welcome back to the Peteytown Piranhas, a college football 26 team builder dynasty. In this episode, we're going to be taking on New Mexico, Wyoming, and then traveling to Pitt for a big rivalry game. Before we step onto the field, we ended last episode with some exciting recruiting news as Raheem Pryor joined us, as well as Sean Leonhardt and Charlie Cahill. But it wasn't all exciting news. As you can see, Jabari Raymond, we've lost the lead on him, and Pitt is now in front, and doesn't look like we're going to be able to get him. Try to visit and hard sells and everything, but just going to keep him on the board just to see what happens, but not looking good there. Things are looking a little shaky as well for Rudy Brownlee, as Alabama's using that Tier 5 pipeline to their advantage. And we're putting on a Week 12 visit, but Oklahoma State has one before us, so that might be a little bit of a lost cause with him, but we're still in first, so just trying to see what we can do. Thanks to our win in our previous game, Oscar Rivas is now in first place and inches away from committing to us. I'm hoping with the recruiting battle that Alabama doesn't overtake us, and I mean, they really shouldn't, because we're literally like inches as close as you can be to getting him, but we'll see what happens here. And Alex Payne is also inches away from committing to us, so it should happen before that Week 11 visit for Toledo, so feeling pretty good. Unfortunately, Nick Kurtz, as we expected, went to Penn State, but I think his visit, along with Charlie Cahill, helped with that, so if anything, that was kind of a positive, but losing Nick Kurtz isn't the way we wanted that battle to go. We got another defensive tackle, Trey Rizzo, here with our Tier 5 pipeline, and I think we're going to be pretty good with him. One battle that is not looking very good that we've been tracking is AJ Peppers, but we used the double soft sell to find out his hard sell, so we have that now, so we'll see if that can give us anything. Now it's time to travel to New Mexico to take on the Lobos, and they're 64 overall and 3-3 records, so they're looking for something to go their way, try to maintain some bowl eligibility chances, so got to be ready for their best punch. On our opening drive, we're already on a third down with 3rd down and 4. Pete Manning is going to drop back, fire a slant, and it's going to be Pete Ackler on the receiving end for the first down. Another 3rd down on this drive for the Piranhas. And Pete Manning is going to fire it quickly, and Sharon White Jr. gets the separation he needs to get it into their territory. Here's a little RPO, and it's going to be intercepted. Pete Manning thought he had Ryan Boyd streaking deep, but their corner just undercut that route and made a brilliant play to pick off our quarterback. That interception already gets New Mexico into our territory, and they're going to start with a handoff, and he just muscles his way through for a 2nd and inches. There's a little RPO bubble screen, and they got it set it up nicely out there and getting it to the 34-yard line. Another pass, and he's got him open underneath, and he is going to twirl his way for a 1st down. Another pass for New Mexico, and this time he's going to get crunched down by the pass rush as Tadarius Collins and Jordan Crawford get in there. Here's a play action, and right up the middle is Jake Arkin. Their guard just had no answer for Jake on that one, as he just got in there in just a millisecond. Those 2 sacks will put the New Mexico Lobos on 3rd down and 22. And the pass rush is coming in again, and now Peter Latagoski is going to bring him down. It's not going to be a sack, but our defensive line all got in on the action in the last few plays to put New Mexico in a field goal situation. About a 42-yard field goal here for New Mexico. They're going to put it up, and the kick is through, so that interception is going to lead to 3 for New Mexico, and they're going to take the early 3-0 lead. I feel like we've had to say this a little too much this season, but we'll see if Pete Manning can bounce back from another interception. He's going to throw it over the middle, and he's got our guy over the middle. Can't really tell who that is. Looks like the 3rd-string tight end, who I haven't seen play yet. 3rd down and 4 from the Piranhas, just on their side of the 50 here. It's going to be a slant, and it's going to be just enough for the 1st down for Sharon White Jr. Another pass for Pete Manning. It's going to be a drag, and we're going to get just 3 out of it. And this is not looking good. We got an injury timeout for Pete Manning. So that's going to look a little... It's not looking the best. Peteytown is going to come out for Pete Manning after the injury. It's going to be a play action for Peteytown. He's going to deliver a strike to Pete Ackler. Very nice throw from our backup QB. And that's going to put Pete Ackler above the 3,000 career receiving yards mark, so congratulations. From the pistol now, Peteytown is going to go and drop back, deliver a nice one outside the numbers for just before the first down marker. Pete Manning's out there again, but he's shaking his right arm a little bit, so he's going to throw a little bubble, and it's going to get free for Ryan Boyd as the block's lined up, and the RPO bubble screen's going to lead us to a 7-3 lead. Here comes New Mexico, and they're going to start with a handoff up the middle that's perfectly designed. New Mexico starts the second quarter with a fresh set of downs. And they are going to do a little play action. Peter Latagoski can't quite get there, but the pressure forces a quick throw, and it's going to be intercepted. What a great play by our defensive back. And I'm going to check on his name. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't seen him much this season, to be honest with you. So we'll see who that was. It's the transfer cornerback Cameron Keys making the interception. So just beautiful coverage there and great pressure to force that throw. Pete A. Caruso with a little bounce motion. It's going to be play action, and we're going to find Bianca Croning over the middle of the field. Pete Manning firing quickly, and it's going to be Sharon White Jr. for 9 yards. Pete Manning firing, and he fits it in between 3 defenders there, and it's going to be a first down. Another catch for Sharon White Jr. Third down and goal for the Piranhas here. It's going to be Juju Johnson, and our offensive line gets the push we need, and Juju is going to get into the end zone to make it 14-3. There's a little pressure again, and Peter Latagoski is going to bring him down. So last drive, he forced the pressure for that errant throw, and this time he gets home to bring down their quarterback. Third down and 15, thanks to Peter Latagoski. New Mexico is going to drop back. Pressure's coming in again, and it's going to be Peter Latagoski yet again, making his presence felt all over the place in this first half, and we're going to force the punt. Pete Manning is going to find a wide open man over the middle of the field. That is James Bickley, the freshman. Double stack here in the red zone. Pete Manning gets it out, and Sharon White Jr. being very active yet again. Kyrie Toon in motion here, and we're going to hit him, and he's going to get enough for the first down. Third down and goal for the Piranhas. Really trying to ice this one away, but New Mexico is up to the task as their goal line defense has been pretty good. Petey Boy is going to come in for the kick, and it is no good as we're going to miss it wide to the left on those tricky hash mark field goals. New Mexico got the ball near midfield, but they were forced to punt it away, so our offense will take over, and Pete Manning's going to start with a simple pass to Pete Ackler. Here comes Pete Manning, and it's going to be a hitch route to Pete Ackler, and he has just enough for the first down. Juju goes in motion here, and Pete Manning's going to find Pete Ackler, who breaks a tackle and gets the first down to stop the clock. No need to panic here for the Piranhas. We have all the options open to us, and we are going to get a nice toss out to Sharon White Jr., and he's going to get pushed out of bounds. 9 seconds left. Pete Manning is going to look. He's going to fire it outside to Bianca Croning, and he's going to go down, and we're going to use the timeout with 2 seconds left. Excellent clock management by Petey Previtt and the Piranhas to set up this field goal attempt from about 35 yards. Petey Boy puts it up, and he avenges that last miss by putting this one in, and we're going to go into halftime with a 2-touchdown lead. To start the second half, our defense got a quick 3-and-out on New Mexico, and we're already near midfield. Pete A. Caruso's got a lane to run through, and he's going to get a 9-yard gain. Pete Manning gets it out to Bianca Croning on one of our favorite short yardage game plays. Pete Manning's got some pressure, and they're going to get in and take him down for the sack. That's New Mexico's first sack of the game, and it comes just by overloading our offensive line there. Just not enough blockers. See if we can recover from that sack on first down. Pete Manning is going to hand it off to Juju Johnson, and he's going to get around them, and Juju Johnson's got nothing but green grass in front of him, and we will recover from that sack with a big run by Juju Johnson. Just the perfect play call against them on that play, and we're going to go up 24-3. Quick swing pass out to their running back, and they juke out Cameron Keys. Little RPO bubble, and they got it set up nicely, and Peter Eris saves the day with a tackle. Dropping back to pass, and that's just not a good idea, as Peter Latagoski and Tadarius Collins are going to combine in for the sack. Here comes another pass, and it's going to be a short one out to their running back, and they get that sack yardage back. 3rd down and 9 for the Lobos. Pointing out some things, and he's going to drop back, throw it deep, and it's going to be caught after our defender tried to dive for him for some reason, and he just catches it right over him and gets it into our territory. After that big pass play, New Mexico is on a 3rd down and 8. They're going to drop, and they're going to get a nice slant in there in between the zones to get the first down. And Tadarius Collins is going to get in again for the sack, as he just absolutely speeded around their tackle on that play. And that's going to be his 30th career sack. 3rd down and 13 for New Mexico, really needing something on this drive if they want to keep themselves in it. And it's just going to be a draw play. Really curious decision, just kind of a give-up play there from them. And that's going to set up a 34-yard field goal for their kicker. He's going to put it up, and it goes through, so that's going to make it 24-6. It's still a 3-possession game for them. Here's a toss out there to Bianca Croning, and he's got plenty of space to get it to their 40-yard line. A couple running plays set up a 3rd down and 6 for the offense. Pete Manning is going to drop back. He's going to throw to the side, and it's going to be Ryan Boyd making the catch and run and getting out of bounds for the first down. Here's Juju Johnson, and we're going to get the blocks on the outside, and he spins away from the tackle. He's going to get it inside their red zone. And Pete Ackler's on the slant, and he's getting hit in stride to bring us into the 5-yard line. From the 3-yard line, the Piranhas are going to try a passing play. Pete Manning's going to float it, and that is probably one of the worst decisions you'll ever see Pete Manning make. That was just ill-advised in all ways it could have been ill-advised. There was a defender standing right there, and he just stared him down and said, "I'm just going to yeet this ball over there." And of course it's going to end up in an interception. After that interception, New Mexico has found themselves on a 4th down play. They're going to throw it, and it is knocked away, so we're going to stop them. Here comes the offense now after that nice stop by the defense, and it'll be Pete Ackler on a little RPO bubble for 9 yards. And a short completion to Bianca Croning gets us the first down. Bianca Croning's going to go in the motion, and Kyrie Toon is wide open, and Kyrie Toon is going to fight his way into the end zone for the Piranhas. So after that interception, the defense had our backs, and the offense capitalized with a touchdown. We're going to go up 31-6, and at that point, I'll just let it sim out, and I'll see you guys at the finish line. So the Peteytown Piranhas finish off a 38-13 victory against New Mexico, and just a solid day all around for the guys, and hopefully we can get in Pete Manning's ear about some of those decisions he's making out there, but just a solid effort from the boys today. Against New Mexico, we outgained them 393 yards to 226. And then for rushing, we had 74 yards to their 10. Passing-wise, we outgained them by over 100 with 319 to 216. And we were 5 of 7 on 3rd down, while they were 5 for 14. There were a bunch of turnovers in this game, and Pete Manning had a couple of them, but our defense managed to force 3 on New Mexico. Not the best day from our quarterback, as Pete Manning had 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, and he was only sacked once. Juju Johnson actually led the way rushing-wise with 7 carries, 47 yards, and 2 touchdowns. For our receivers, Bianca Croning had 10 for 78, Pete Ackler 9 for 71, Sharon White Jr. 6 for 62, Ryan Boyd 6 for 53 and a touchdown, and then Kyrie Toon came in and got a red zone touchdown. Our backup, Eric Gooden, actually tied for the lead in tackles with 6, along with Anthony Kaufman. We got 8 sacks on the game, as Tadarius Collins got 2.5, and Peter Latagoski got 2. John Kamara came in with 1.5 sacks. Jake Arkin got a sack. Then we had half a sack from Jordan Crawford, Byron Leon, DeAndre Hepburn. For interceptions, Peteytown Glenn had 1 interception, as well as the one we saw from Cameron Keys. Then you go over to the forced fumble category, and we had one by Byron Leon, and that was picked up by Peteytown Glenn, and he returned that for a touchdown. So Peteytown had a 2-turnover day. Petey Boy went 1 for 2 on field goals with a long of 35. And for his 2-turnover effort, Peteytown Glenn was the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week. For recruiting, as I feared, Rudy Brownlee ended up going down to 2nd place as Alabama's trying to take over that battle. And I am extremely upset that we lost out on Oscar Rivas. I truly don't know how we did, as we were literally centimeters away from him committing, so I'm a little upset about that one, I'm not gonna lie. Now it's time for another away game against 3-4, 66 overall Wyoming. Here's Pete A. Caruso up the middle on our first play of the game, and we're getting a first down right off the bat. Off of play action, Pete Manning is firing and getting it to Sharon White Jr. or Ryan Boyd for the first down. Pete Manning's got the time, and he's going to find Pete Ackler just before the first down marker. And a nice decision there by Pete Manning to Bianca Croning for the first down. Hand off to Peteytown Grant, and he gets loose for a 9-yard gain. Here's Juju Johnson on a run to the outside, and he's going to get enough for the first down. Pete Manning is going to find Bianca Croning, and he hangs on for the first down. It's 3rd down and 4 for the Piranhas here. Pete Manning's dropping back, firing. He's got his guy open, and he's going to break off the tackle to get into the end zone. Sharon White Jr. is going to put us on the board first. And very nice drive, just very meticulous and dink and dunk for the Piranhas. And here comes Peter Latagoski screaming off the edge to get a sack. Looked like it might have been an RPO play, so we'll get credited with that sack, but just came in absolutely untouched. Setting up a 3rd down and 13 for Wyoming. They're going to drop back, and we're going to get the sack in as Peter Latagoski uses his weight to bring down the quarterback there. Quarterback just had nowhere to go, and Peter Latagoski is trying to reel him in with a fishing line. Over the middle, it's Ryan Boyd making the catch, and he had some space to run, and he got the first down. After that first down, it's 3rd down and 9 for the Piranhas. Pete Manning dropping back and fits it into the window for the first down to Sharon White Jr. And that's a nice milestone for Pete Manning as it's 1,000 career passes completed. Pete Manning's got some slants out there, and he finds Ryan Boyd. And it's going to be a toss out to Bianca Croning. The blocks line up thanks to Sharon White Jr. and friends out there, and he gets it within the 5-yard line. Here come the Piranhas now. It's going to be a RPO out to Pete Ackler, and it's a little bubble screen for him to get him into the end zone. And the Piranhas are going to go up 14-0. Another play action for Wyoming, and we're going to get him in the backfield again this time, and it's going to be Anthony Kaufman getting in there, and we're going to put him on a 3rd down and 17. 3rd down and forever for Wyoming. They're going to go with the passing play, and pressure kind of gets in there, and they launch it, and the guy makes a very impressive catch, jumping in front of 2 defenders to get him to midfield. 3rd down and 9 for Wyoming at exactly midfield here. They're going to drop back, and we're going to hit him, and it's going to be intercepted by John Camara. The pressure comes in again, and he gets hit as he released the ball, and John Camara was in the right place at the right time to make that play. After that interception, the offense couldn't really do anything, so Wyoming's got the ball back, and they got a little delayed handoff, and their guy is breaking free. Anthony Kaufman's trying to chase him down, but he can't. George Emmanuel is using all the speed he has, and he finally brings him down as Wyoming gets a huge run. And they really needed that to go their way to get back into this ball game. But now they're going to be threatening deep in our territory. So after that huge run, Wyoming's on a 3rd down and 10 after a couple of unsuccessful plays. They're going to drop back here. The pressure's coming in, and it forces them to throw the ball away. There's a 30-yard field goal attempt for Wyoming. The kick is up, and it is through the uprights, so they can only muster up a field goal for that, but they really needed something to make themselves feel better in this game, and it's going to be a 14-3 advantage. 3rd down and 3 for the Piranhas here. Pete Manning is going to take it and drop back. Some pressure coming in, and we take advantage of it by finding Pete Ackler wide open to get us a nice 1st down. 1 3rd down conversion leads to another 3rd down situation with 3rd and 3 for the Piranhas. Pete Manning is going to fire over to Kyrie Toon, and he's going to get plenty for the 1st down. Inside of 2 minutes left in the 1st half, we're on a 2nd down and 8. Pete Manning's got some time. He's going to deliver a strike, and we're going to get nice yardage on that into their red zone thanks to Nick Cummins. Pete Manning's looking. He's got Pete Ackler, who gets himself free on some nice route running to get the 1st down. 1st down and goal for the Piranhas here. Pete Manning is looking, and he's got Sharon Wright Jr. to get us closer. Pete Manning's going to throw it out to Pete Ackler, and he's going to possession catch it in the end zone. And I guess Wyoming didn't read the scouting report on what we like to do down here, but thankfully for us, that's going to lead to a 21-3 lead. And that's going to be a sack by Jordan Crawford off of play action for Wyoming. 3rd down and 18, slight chance to get the ball back and maybe do something with it for the Piranhas. We're going to send a blitz on him, and he's going to get it away just as the blitz comes in, and a lot of contact, but no flag. Great opportunity here for the Piranhas with 41 seconds left in the half, and we're on their side of the 50, and Bianca Croning's going to hang on to it for a 5-yard gain. Saving that timeout for a field goal attempt as Juju Johnson's going to catch it out of the backfield for a 1st down. Petey Previtt uses that timeout, and it's going to send Petey Boy out there for a field goal attempt. He's going to put it up, and he puts it right through, and we are going to extend our lead before the half, and it's going to be 24-3. And here comes Wyoming out here when their running back is gashing us a little bit again. Another handoff to their running back, and he's going to get them the 1st down. And they're going to find their guy in the seam, and he's going to break away until we can finally corral him with George Emmanuel. Just excellent play call against our coverage there, and he found the soft spot. From the 30, an excellent chance for Wyoming. They are going to swing it out to their running back, and it's blown up by George Emmanuel. 3rd down and 13 for the Cowboys. And they're going to toss it out to the outside the numbers, but he's just short of the 1st down. Needing to go for it here. It's 4th down and 3. Wyoming, we're going to bring the pressure, and it doesn't quite get home. And he's throwing it out there, and we knock it away on an excellent defensive play. Pete Manning dropping back, and it's going to be over the middle. Tough catch by Ryan Boyd. 3rd down and 7 for Peteytown. We're going to try a deep ball. Pete Ackler's got the separation, and Pete Manning hits him in stride, and Pete Ackler's going to get a big gain on that one. Just a beautiful, beautiful play. Nice pass from Pete Manning. Good concentration from Pete Ackler. That big pass sets us up at the 9-yard line, and it's going to be a RPO slant. Beautifully executed there, and it's Ryan Boyd in the end zone. Pete Manning held on to it just long enough to suck in the defense. He just threw it over top of him to the open spot for Ryan Boyd. Drop back here. Pressure comes in, and he hits him outside the numbers. That's an impressive throw from their quarterback in the face of all that heat.
Now we gotta keep it going.
And he just finds the soft spot in the zone coverages there, and they're going to get a big gain again. Here's a read option to their quarterback. They block it nicely, and eventually we bring them down. In the single back formation on 3rd down and 2, they're going to hand it right up the middle, and they block it well for the first down. And their running back is going to find the blocking, spin out of some tackles, and we finally bring him down at the 2. 3rd down and goal here for Wyoming. They're going to go with the quarterback sneak, and he's going to put it into the end zone for their first touchdown of the game. And finally comes with just under a minute left in the 3rd quarter, so just some big plays making them get into the end zone. Pete Manning is going to throw an interception, just trying to force the ball to Pete Ackler, and Wyoming is going to get a golden opportunity to fight their way back into this game. And here's going to be an RPO that's wide open for Wyoming, and they're going to get it to our 5-yard line. Here comes a play action for Wyoming, and they're going to hit their guy open in the end zone, and it's going to be 31-17 now for the Piranhas. Very costly mistake for Pete Manning on that last drive. So we're going to come out here, and Peteytown Caruso is going to get the carry, and he's going to get us a first down after he had some space. 3rd down and 5 for the Piranhas. Pete Manning's going to drop, and he's going to hit Peteytown Caruso over the middle, and we're going to get the first down. Here's a bubble out there to Pete Ackler, and he's spinning his way for the first down. Penalty on 1st down makes it 1st down and 20 for the Piranhas. And we're going to go with a RPO, and it's going to be caught out there by Ryan Boyd. So from 1st and 20 to 2nd down and 1 in a flash. We are going to go with a bubble to Pete Ackler, and he's going to get enough for the first down and more. And Pete Manning's going to take it and fire it over to him, and he breaks a tackle and gets us another first down. It's 3rd down and 8 here for the Piranhas. We're going to go with a run up the middle for Peteytown Caruso, and they sniff that out. Here's Petey Boy for a 30-yard attempt, and he is going to put that one through to make it a 3-score game again at 34-17. Here's a play action, and it's going to be Tadarius Collins getting into the backfield for our 5th sack of the game. That sack makes it a 3rd down and 14. Cowboys are going to drop back. We're bringing pressure. It hits him, but he gets it out, and it's going to be marked short of the first down, and that pressure shook up their quarterback a little bit. 4th down and inches here for Wyoming. They're going to go with a direct snap, and Jordan Crawford's going to tackle him, but he just pushes forward for the first down. 3rd down and 11 for Wyoming. They're going to go with a deep ball, and he gets hit, and it's knocked away and intercepted by Peter Eris. And he's going to make a return and get it all the way back inside their 30-yard line. Peter Eris just getting over there, and with great concentration off the tip from our corner, he's going to make the interception, and that ought to put this one away. So after that Peter Eris interception, we tacked on a touchdown with Peteytown Caruso, and we're going to get the 41-17 victory over Wyoming. And just, you know, Wyoming had some big plays, but we were able to get more big plays in this game. We got your stats here as the Peteytown Piranhas put up 437 yards to their 288, and we had 75 yards on the ground with a touchdown, while they were able to outgain us there with 90 yards and a touchdown. We outgained them pretty good though in the passing game with 362 yards to their 198, and we were a very nice 10 for 12 on third downs while they were 4 of 11. And we did have another turnover, but our defense forced 2 turnovers, so we've had that knack for takeaways this season, as well as, unfortunately, some giveaways. Pete Manning put up a line of 360 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception, and we did not allow him to get sacked, which is very good. Our running game was a little bottled up today, but Peteytown Caruso managed 11 carries, 36 yards, and a touchdown. Pete Ackler was a superstar today with 12 catches, 146 yards, and 2 touchdowns, while Ryan Boyd went for 8, 69, nice, and a touchdown. Sharon White Jr. had 4 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. George Emanuel has been really racking up the tackles lately, which you love to see from the young freshman. He had 12 tackles and 2 for a loss. Tadarius Collins got 2 sacks, while Peter Latagoski had 1.5 sacks. Anthony Kaufman and Jordan Crawford each had a sack, and then Jake Arkin had half a sack. And we all remember that game-sealing interception from Peter Eris, and John Kamara also got an interception. Petey Boy was solid with 2 of 2 on field goals and a long of 48. And some recruiting as we did lock in that wide receiver, Alex Payne. Pete Ackler deserved that Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week for his performance. So for Jabari Raymond, it's a recruiting battle with Pitt, and we play them next, so we'll see if we can get a victory, if maybe that can push this battle towards us, or at least extend it so we can get that Week 12 visit with him. As for Rudy Brownlee, at this point I'm kind of just hoping that we stay in it until the Week 12 visit, but with Oklahoma State having their visit next week, I don't know if this is really going to go our way. After doing the double soft sell on Darren Michelle, we have his hard sell now, so hopefully that can help us maintain this lead. At this point, we're pretty much just keeping AJ Peppers on the board to help with the visit for Darren Michelle, but I don't think this battle is going to go our way either. So now it's time for that tough rivalry game against Pitt. We're going to have to travel to their stadium and 78 overall, and they're a middling team during the season at 4-4, but you can never count on that for rivalry games because when the blood gets boiling, anything can happen. So we'll see what we can do. A couple of short passes on our opening drive get us to 3rd down and 6. Pete Manning is going to drop back and fire over the middle, and Pete Ackler has got it in stride for the 1st down. Handoff for Peteytown Caruso, and he's got a wide open hole up the middle for the 1st down. 3rd down and 3 now for the Peteytown Piranhas. We got a motion going out. Pianca is going to get some space out there, and they're going to bring him down just before the 1st down marker. 4th down and inches for the Piranhas. We're going to try to go for it. And Pete Manning is going to find Pete Ackler, and he bounces off a tackler, and we're going to get the 1st down. Quick pop pass for Pianca Croning, and he's going to get it into their red zone, and we're threatening early. Here comes Pete Manning. He's going to toss a nice ball out to Pete Ackler, and Pete Ackler is going to score and put us on the board first. So Pete Ackler was very active on that first drive, and he's the one that's going to finish it off to put us up 7-0. Defense really bringing the attitude on their first drive as they force Pitt off the field on a 3-and-out. And we're going to get a nice completion to make it 3rd and inches. On the 3rd and inches, it's going to be a nice possession catch for Pete Ackler. And that's going to be a nice... Apologies for cutting out on that last play. We had some technical difficulties as I forgot to plug in the charger on my laptop. But we're here just in time to watch Pianca Croning get into the end zone on a nice strike from Pete Manning. So despite technical difficulties on my part, the Peteytown Piranhas don't let that stop them from getting into the end zone. So both offenses have had their struggles as our offense got booted off the field on the last drive, and Pitt starting this one with a first down. Here's an RPO that gets wide open inside of our zones, and they're going to get it to 3rd and 1. And their quarterback is going to keep it, and he made the right decision there as he's going to get the first down to end the first quarter. 3rd down and 3 for the Panthers. We got a lot of guys on the line here. We're going to send a man in motion, and he's running around, and he's going to scramble with the open lane, and he eventually takes it, and John Camara gets him down, but not before the first down. Here comes Pitt again, but this time it's going to be Jordan Crawford in his face as he's going to bring him down for the sack. And it's going to be complete to make it 3rd down and manageable. Pitt really moving at hyper speed right now with a no huddle. And they are going to have an incomplete pass on beautiful coverage out there by our corner. Here comes the field goal attempt for Pitt. They're going to put it up, and it goes through. So Pitt is on the board here in the rivalry game as it's 14-3. Here's Juju Johnson going to the outside. He's got some blockers in front of him, and he ran past his blockers and got tackled as a result. Pete Manning fires it over to Ryan Boyd, and he's pushed forward to make it 2nd and inches. Pete Caruso's going to get it, and he's going to get the first down. Here's a direct snap to Pete Caruso, and he gets around the edge and jukes a guy out for a 9-yard gain. Pete Manning in the empty backfield, and Bianca Croning is there to be the security blanket for the first down. Pete Manning's got a guy wide open in a slant, and he's sprinting towards the end zone. Nick Cummins almost gets us into the end zone, but he will put us in prime position at their 2-yard line. Great play by the freshman. Nick Cummins sets up a first down and goal for us now. It's going to be a bubble screen out there to Pete Ackler, and he's going to get himself into the end zone again, as he has been absolutely fantastic in our rivalry game. Big-time players making big plays and big games. Here's a pop pass, and they run our favorite play against us, and they get it to midfield. Play action for Pitt, and it's intercepted. They try to get us on an RPO again, and this time Anthony Kaufman read it like a book, and he's going to get the turnover for our defense and put our offense in great position on their side of the 50. Here comes Pete Caruso in the Wildcat around the edge, and he's going to get the first down. Pete Manning is looking, and he's got a nice post route there for our receiver. Empty formation. They kind of left that all alone, but we audibled out of it, so that's cool, I guess. But on 3rd down and 1, Pete Manning is going to get hit as he throws, and it lands on the ground. Petey Boy out for a 45-yard field goal attempt. He's going to put it up, and he puts it through. So the Peteytown Piranhas are going to take the nice 24-3 lead over the Pitt Panthers. Here comes Pitt on 2nd down. Their quarterback throws it, and they found the soft spot with a nice curl route. Here's a little power I formation, and they're going to try a stretch out there, and their guy is going to get out there. Looked like a tight end got audibled into that position, but they still managed the first down. Here's play action, and the pressure's coming in, and Darius Collins brings him down again, and that's 3 sacks for us on defense. 3rd down and very long here for Pitt. Just outside the 2 minutes. They're going to snap it before we get there, and they are going to make the completion. Anthony Kaufman was right there, but couldn't manage to haul it in. And it's going to be a sack by Jake Arkin again. He's going to get in for the 2nd time today. His pressure came out of nowhere. I didn't even see him get in there, but very nice play by Jake. 3rd down and 19. Surely the Piranhas can get off the field this time. And they are going to look. There's a flag on the play as their receiver is going to convert a first down, but should be coming back. And it will be on a holding call for Pitt. Now, if it wasn't for the holding, they would have converted that, but surely we got to get off the field on 3rd and 29, and we will on a nice batted down pass from Anthony Kaufman. Just under a minute left for the Piranhas. It's 3rd down and 9. Pete Manning is going to look and see what he's got. He throws it, and it almost looked like an interception, but somehow Bianca Cronin came away with that. That's just a grown man catch right there. Here comes Pete Manning. He's going to throw it over the middle, and that's intercepted by the defense. So Pitt's going to stop us from adding anything else before the end of the half, and they put themselves in position with 3 timeouts and 20 seconds where they could do something here now, as they're going to dunk that turnover basketball into the hoop. Pretty close to field goal range now, and they're going to toss it out there, and they make a leaping catch, and now they're for sure in field goal range with a timeout taken and a timeout left. Here comes Pitt, and we're going to take him down for the sack, so nice job by the defense to stop them from getting any further. That's going to make it a 54-yard kick, not a gimme, and they're going to put it up. And it bounces in. It bounced in from on the inside of the upright and went in. So Pitt is going to get a field goal out of that after the Pete Manning interception. So Pitt has the chance to put some momentum together after a field goal to end the half. They're out here to start the second half with the ball, and their running back is going to gash us, and they lined up their blocks perfectly for a big run. After the big run on their first play, Pitt's on a 3rd down and 3 near midfield. We're going to bring the pressure, and that pressure gets home this time as John Camara and Jake Arkin are going to combine for the sack. So Petey Previtt and the defensive staff gamble with the big pressure there, and their quarterback panicked and got taken down. Here comes Pete Manning, and he's going to find Juju Johnson for the first down. Pete Caruso is going to get away from their guy trying to chase him down to get 9 yards. 3rd down and inches for the Piranhas. Pete Manning's going to drop back and throw a nice slant to Pete Ackler, who's got plenty for the first down. Another direct snap for Pete Caruso, and this time he's got a lot of space to work with on some nice blocks and a broken tackle, and he's going to get it deep into their territory. From the 11-yard line now, Pete Manning is going to look, and he's going to scramble. He's got a little room, and he's going to dive safely for a 7-yard gain. Pete Manning's going to drop back, and he audibled into that, and it looks like it was not the right decision from Pete Manning as he's going to go down. 3rd down and 11 here for the Piranhas. We're going to audible out of that again. And Pete Manning is going to drop back, see what he's got. He's going to float it to the corner, and it's going to be intercepted. Oh my goodness. When will these interceptions end for Pete Manning? I just don't really understand what he's doing sometimes with the ball, and they're going to bring out that basketball hoop again. Their quarterback is going to throw, and he's going to get it to 2nd and inches. Little pop pass, and it's going to be intercepted by Peter Eris. So Peter Eris remembered that pop pass from earlier in the game, and this time he stepped up to make a play, and he brought it down on a nice jump and showing his athleticism there. And we're going to set up our offense after the mistake from our quarterback. Their quarterback made a mistake as well. And it's going to be a read option, and Pete Manning is going to take it himself and get the first down. Here's a 3rd down and 2 opportunity for the Piranhas, and it's going to be caught, and Sharon Wright Jr. bounces off a guy after a nice slant route. 3rd down and goal for the Piranhas here. Pete Manning is going to toss it out to Pete Ackler, and they are going to bring him down. On 4th down and goal, the Piranhas are going to line up in a heavy goal line set, and it's going to be absolutely stuffed as Peteytown Grant had no chance. It's 3rd down and 7 for Pitt. We're loading up the line here. And they're going to drop back. He's dropping back to danger zone, and he throws it, but their guy goes out of bounds before the first down. A couple of runs can't net us anything on the first 2 downs, so it's 3rd down and 10 for the Piranhas. Pete Manning is going to fire, and it's going to be caught on a tough contested catch, and we're going to get the first down. Pete Manning in an empty formation, 5 wide. He's going to drop back, throw it over the middle, and it is caught on a nice little dive from Ryan Boyd. Big 3rd down here for the Piranhas. They're going to drop back. It's going to be out to Juju Johnson, and they're going to swarm all over him to force a field goal attempt. It'll be a 28-yard attempt from Petey Boy. Not easy from the hash mark, but he makes it look easy as he puts it through. And we are going to take a 3-touchdown lead at 27-6. Here's some pressure being applied, and he's just running backwards for dear life, and Tadarius Collins doesn't let him get away, and it's going to be a big sack of 13-yard loss. That first down sack sets up a 3rd down and 17 issue for Pitt, and they're going to drop back, looking to see what they got, and it's going to be intercepted, undercut again, and it's Peter Ellis with his 2nd interception of the game. Just a beautiful play by our free safety. He just undercut that route, prevented the receiver from getting it, and that's just how it's done there by Peter Ellis. 2nd down and 5 for the Piranhas after that interception. Pete Manning is looking, and Pete Ackler is open. Not really open, but he's able to make the catch. Pete Manning's got pressure coming up the middle, and they're going to get him down for their 2nd sack of the game. 3rd down and goal now from outside the 10-yard line. Pete Manning is scrambling, and he's going to hit our receiver, Sharon White Jr. That catch is going to set up a field goal attempt here for Petey Boy. He's going to put it up, and it is through. So we're going to make it 30-6. Pitt's going to launch a ball deep, and guess what? It's another interception for Peter Ellis, his 3rd interception of the game, and I would suggest that they throw somewhere else, but I'm not their coach, and I am not arguing against it because I love watching our defense and Peter Ellis getting interceptions. It's 3rd down and 3 for the Piranhas. Pete Manning is going to fire it quickly, and it's going to be Sharon Wright Jr. to convert the 1st down. Pete A. Caruso is going to do our long winding motion, and he's going to be wide open to make the catch, and a juke move for the 1st down. Pete A. Caruso stands in the face of pressure and delivers a strike to Pete Bianca Croning for a 1st down. Here comes Pete A. Caruso, and he is going to get in for the touchdown. So after the interception from Peter Ellis, our offense punches it in, and that'll do it for this game, our rivalry game against Pitt. Just a dominant effort for the Peteytown Piranhas as we get the 37-6 victory. The defense just couldn't stop making turnovers, and our guy Pete Manning had some turnovers too, but overall just pleased with the guys and what they did today, especially in a big game like this in a rivalry game. And we are going to take down Pitt in the Panthers Piranhas provocation. Peter Ellis was rewarded for his defensive effort with Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week. We're going to close this episode now by taking a look at the final stretch of the regular season that we're going to be going into. We are going to be taking on UNLV, Nevada, and Colorado State all at home, so I'm expecting us to take care of business in our next episode, but we still got to play the game, so we'll see what happens there. I'll see you guys in the next video.